Football in Focus, teed up indoors on Battleground Avenue, the home of Davis Troxler and his great golf team. Some great people working here for us. These husband and wife team are here every week for us. We appreciate their help as always. They're very, very busy right now, and so some information up front. But again, Jaxson Kemp with us, from one good and very good sophomore quarterback to another. Going from Faison Brandon to Jaxson Kemp. Jaxson, have you ever met Faison before? You know him?
I haven't personally met him, but we've played many times.
Been against each other?
Yep.
Wow. Southeast versus Northern?
Back in middle school.
Yeah.
And then when I was 8-quartered last year as a freshman, played him last game of the season on varsity, and then now see him again Friday night on varsity again.
A couple of weeks coming up, not far away. But you've got a bigger, as the old saying goes, from the farm, from the home, whatever, you got bigger fish to fry than that right now, because you got a big game tomorrow night, Northwest Guilford coming up.
Got to look at one game at a time.
Yep. How big is that game for you guys tomorrow night? You're playing that game. What are you looking for as far as Northwest goes, the challenges they present for you guys?
I think they are a very good football program. They do what they need to do. They're, especially defensively, they are very fast. But I feel like if we play our game plan, practice how we've been practicing all week, that we will be able to get it done.
Now, we know Jaxson Kemp has Jaxson. Jaxson. We got Jackson Moore coming up next, Jaxson. The two Jacksons, not the Jackson 5, as I mentioned on the website, but the Jackson 2. Again, this is not to happen. We don't want this to happen, but again, I'm just curious. I always like to find out what's going on as far as the scene goes. You are QB1. Who is QB2?
It's a very good question, but right now as QB2, we have one of our receivers, Kevin Willoughby.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's been taking reps, he's been learning it, and he's ready to go if he has to when his name's called.
Who was QB1 last year when you were the freshman?
When I was a freshman, Jack Mercer.
Oh, yeah, Jack, he got hurt.
Yep, and then he got hurt in the Southwest game, about a little over halfway through the season, and then Alexander Marsh took over from there.
And Marsh has graduated, moved on also, or just moved on?
He has moved on to Southeast.
Ah, interesting. That's the way it works these days. The transfer portal is open for high school football, no doubt about that. But in your situation, again, you were backing up at one time on one of them. Jack Mercer, I always call him Jack No Mercy Mercer. Jack was a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah. He could use his legs well, and he was able to throw it too.
So you learned a little bit from him about using the legs then.
Yep.
I want to ask you, it's changed back in, I don't remember you running the ball this much in middle school. How did the running start to pick up here?
No, it really didn't. But then I came to high school, got a little bit bigger, put some weight on, been in the weight room, and then figured out I could use my legs too. I've been doing it.
How tall are you now?
6'1".
6'1", and the legs are getting bigger too, I see.
Yep.
I saw Faison was here with his big legs, and you got the big legs too. You guys make me look like a little kid, a little shrimp these days. But thinking it over now, all coming up, going back to Northern Guilford Middle School about 2 years ago, Chase Cochran was your coach. You guys went unbeaten that year, didn't lose a game. You must have 10 to 14 guys in this sophomore class off that same team. How close are these guys together on that?
Oh, we are very connected. Our chemistry is very tight. We do everything together. We'll go out on the weekends, come to the field, get work in, find things we need to work on without the coaches present, because we're very dedicated and we love to get better, and we're very connected. We'll hang out out of school, do everything together.
Some of those things you guys have probably bonded close since back in those middle school days together.
Yep.
Probably get together and set a few goals. We want to do this before we leave Northern Guilford. You guys are already thinking about those things.
Yep.
It's good too, because you guys are on a win streak right now. You forget the 4 losses because you lost to some very tough teams, New Bern, Eastern Alamance, and others. Yeah. But right now, 2 straight wins, so you want to keep that building, keep it going forward.
Can't live in the past. Got to keep moving forward.
Exactly. You're only as good as your last game. You guys got a win last week against Southwest Guilford. I think it was 38-20. So Northwest this week coming up. And what about back in the old days too? I keep going back to the old days for some reason. But thinking about that, your top receiver at Northern Guilford Middle was Mr. Cruz.
Yes, he was.
He was your top. Now he's on defense at Northern on the varsity level.
Yeah, he's primarily playing defense right now.
You ever get to throw the ball to him anymore?
Actually, yes, we do. Every once in a while, he's gotten in on a couple plays in a couple games, and a couple guys need subbed out. He'll be able to in. He's ready to go. He knows what he needs to do if he needs to.
Special packages for him then. Slip him in there. So you guys might connect again someday.
Yep.
What about Reggie King? What do you see in Reggie King? He might be considered one of your top receivers now, the wideout Mr. King.
He's very fast, and he may not have that full size, but he is very athletic, and he will go get that ball, and he runs his heart out.
Like that one thing you said, he will go get that ball. It's very important. You think about it, though, he gets covered up a lot sometimes in games because they know his abilities. The opposing teams, Southeast did that early on. They covered up. But you got the other guys, right? Cohen Muse. What about Cohen?
Oh, Cohen, he's a great athlete, too. very fast, and he runs his heart out. He's not going to take any plays off, whether it's blocking, running, setting a screen, anything. He's going to do it to the best of his capability.
You just got to make sure you don't get him too tired. You got to score those touchdowns. He's also the kicker. He's keeping us so busy kicking,
yeah,
too.
He's been doing very well with that. I've been very proud of him.
What about Willoughby, the wide receiver? You mentioned him earlier. He's taking some snaps as backup quarterback. What about Willoughby being the wide receiver for you?
He's very smart. He knows the game well. Also plays baseball, multi-sport athlete. He knows the game well. He's able to find those little creases in the defense that we need to find and get there. And then I just get the ball to him and he goes. What
about your fourth guy? Those four. I'm leaving one guy. Who's the other guy?
C.J. Morrison.
C.J. Morrison, number 80. I know his number because he came in that Southeast game. He was kind of the forgotten guy early. Then all of a sudden, he started catching quite a few balls.
Yeah, we made a change and we put him in, and he's fulfilled his spot, and he's gotten there and he's been doing good.
Amari Akers, you had him, I think, over at Northern Guilford Middle on that sophomore.
Yep.
Sophomore back then, the 8th grade team. What do you see in him as a running back? You're back there at quarterback, taking the snaps, handing the ball off to him. When he takes off running the field, what do you see in him?
See a guy that can run the ball. He knows what he's doing, and he gets there and he runs hard.
Would you call him the power runner, maybe?
I'd say that, but he can also be shifty when he needs to, too.
Now, what about Dwight Hall? Because I'd not heard of him at all. Dwight Hall, so he got the ball in that game against Southeast when Amari gave him a break, a little change of pace between two runners. What about Hall as a runner? What do you see in him?
I like him just as much. We have 3 running backs that we were able to rotate in, Noah Smith being another one.
Right.
He was on the middle school team, too, and they're all back there taking reps, and they all run it hard.
And I asked Faison Brandon about this. After you hand the ball off, what do you do? I mean, do you sit back kind of keep an eye on what they're doing? Do you do something else around the play, carry out the fake? What do you do then?
Well, first I make sure I carry out the fake, and if I see them coming near me, I'll go out there, try to do a little bit of block and see what I can do. But then I watch them do their work.
Get a little contact if necessary.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Got to be involved. Sam Bagley at center. How good is Sam as far as having him on your side? Because he's big, and he's a sophomore too.
Yeah, he's a sophomore class.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really good. I haven't had one snap over my head all season.
You got to take that and remember that because so many games I watch these high school teams, sometimes even the college games, sometimes it's a problem to snap. So not one over your head at all.
No, he's been doing very well, and especially as a big boy, you think he'd get tired out, but he gets in there and he's fine. Even if he's tired, he's going to play his heart out.
He's probably shooting maybe 280, 290, isn't he? Maybe more.
Yeah.
What about Mason Witt at right tackle? I think it is. He's a veteran lineman. I always mention his name because he's been around a few years. What about having that kind of experience when you take off that right side, that right edge, going that way?
Yeah, it's nice having him over there. He knows the game well, and he's able to coach me up, especially if I make a wrong move and just see this. You need to switch it up a little bit. So it's nice having him back there.
What do you like about running that ball? Because against Southeast, you were doing some good. Because we talked about it in the booth at that broadcast of the game. Not too many other teams were putting guys in the center to get the short run. You only had to go a yard and a half, 2 yards, put you in the center, pile it ahead behind Sam Bagley. I mean, just kind of shove and love going up the field. What, as far as the runner goes, when you start running that football now, what are you seeing out there, and what makes you run a certain way when you're up and down that field?
I kind of just try to find that crease in the defense, get through there, and get what I can get.
That crease is key, because if you find that crease on the outside, all you do is shoot for that seam and hit up the field and just keep going until they knock you out.
And those receivers out there, they see run, they'll block their heart out, and then I'm able to get that crease, and they won't give up, and they allow me to get it.
Of the percentages, what do you think percentages are called running plays for you versus you take off on your own? Is like 75% call plays or 25% on your own, or maybe more toward on your own as opposed to call plays when you take off and run that ball?
It depends. Most of the time, we have a lot of design runs, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So it really just depends, and then I'll also be able to scramble.
What if you design runs for you? Then when you call that play in the huddle, the guys know he's running that ball. Let's go.
Yeah.
Do they ever try to fake design it so it kind of looks like it's going to be uncertain coming out, or is it always just blast away and let's go get these guys and knock them down?
It depends. We have stuff for both. It just depends what we're playing and what the look is, what we need to do.
Against Northwest at Johnny Roscoe Stadium tomorrow night, where they won 4 state. It was 3 straight, I think, one, and then came out one more. 4 championships for Johnny Roscoe and the Nighthawks back in the day. What must you do to beat Northwest? What happens in that game against the Vikings to beat them tomorrow night? What do you got to do?
We just got to play hard. We got to play physical. Can't give up. Can't play selfish football. Got to play as a team, play together, and we'll get that win.
How much are you looking forward to this game? Because this has got to be your biggest rival game. You guys can't talk about it before the game happens, but once the game gets coming up game week for Northwest, how big is this game as far as what you guys look at, what you guys want?
It's a very big game. This team is pumped up. We're ready to go play.
You know some guys on the Northwest team too? Know a few of those guys?
A couple.
Yeah. Haven't met too many of them though.
Not really.
It might be a good thing sometimes. Sometimes you know these guys too much. It becomes too many elbows being rubbed together, and you give up some information. We'll do that. Last week we talked about the other guys tonight. Talked to Jay from Rockingham County. Talked to Faceoff from Grimsley about the 4th and 16 play. Does that 4th and 16 number ring a bell for you about the game last week? Did you see that game, the 4th and 16 play?
I think so.
It would be the Duke Notre Dame game.
Oh yeah.
Sam Hartman. What about that play?
It was a very good play. I didn't see it. I didn't see it live, but I saw the replay.
Yeah.
He makes making plays.
It won the game pretty much. They didn't score on that play, but it set them up to get the winning touchdown in the 2-point conversion. And
you got to have those crucial plays, Bert.
Well, you got to, yeah. And he's such a kind of gritty, gutty, because he'd had some lack of success in that game. He'd had some struggles, and Duke was winning. Duke had that game pretty much in their hands.
Yeah.
And he snatched it right away from that game.
Took that game winning, yeah.
Huge. So I bring that up too because also for Northern Guilford, you got one guy I know of still at Duke, I would think, Vance Bolyard.
Yep.
Remember Vance? He's there now. And he was he got injured just like Jack did. They both lost their senior seasons pretty much due to injury.
That was very unfortunate.
That would have been a different Northern team.
I was pretty close with him.
Would have been a different Northern team with those guys last year, right? Yeah. I mean, probably 5 more wins, possibly.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So you knew.
Never knew how far we could go.
You knew Vance pretty good too, then.
Yeah.
What do you like about that big guy?
He was a very cool dude. He was a great mentor for me. He always coached me up. Was very nice to me. We lived in the same neighborhood. Yep.
Good to get that from a senior too, as a freshman, I'm sure.
Yes, it felt pretty nice.
Oh yeah, and as a basketball player, I love to watch him play basketball. He would always mix it up. Elbows extended, get out on the basketball court.
Yeah.
And how about yourself? Any basketball from you? No?
Not since I was little. I've kind of stepped back from that.
Drifted on to some other better things?
Yep.
How about the Eagles or the 49ers? Who remains unbeaten in the NFL the longest? These two teams, only two left unbeaten right now. Who goes the furthest with the unbeaten record this year? Eagles or the 49ers?
That's a hard one. No, I feel like...
Because Dallas is going to be playing on Sunday night against San Fran. That'll be a tough one, yeah.
Yeah. And then I know Brock Purdy, he's been doing pretty good, but he's still pretty
McCaffrey's a man,
young.
dude. I say current 2023 MVP Christian McCaffrey. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
If the Panthers
he's a good runner.
they would have 3 wins right now.
Yeah, especially when he went over there. He went over there last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made good changes for them. They were able to play hard.
Been unreal for those guys.
Yeah.
So to close it out tonight with Jaxson Kemp from Northern Guilford. If you had any offers yet from these guys, I got this in the mail today from these guys. Any offers from these guys yet?
No.
Yeah, I got this. Was there years ago with those guys in the team. They got the big deal coming up. Open this kind of interesting marketing. They've got their 50th anniversary banquet coming up on November 3rd on a Friday. So they're going to celebrate 50 years of football at Liberty, which is done pretty well. But interesting little note there came in the mail. So that leads me to my last question, or last part of my last question. What colleges are you interested in?
Right now, just looking around.
Is it too soon to ask that question, or are you thinking about it?
Not really. I've been thinking around it. No, I haven't got any straight offers, so I'm just, doing my part in the recruiting process, trying to get my name out there more, just doing that stuff.
I told people this season, I said, this guy, when you guys were losing other games, I said, this guy is going to be on the map because I saw what you did in middle school. Knew you had that talent ability, and once you got going, man, it's been like, look out, it's going to get better and better every week. Do you have a favorite college football team, though?
Yes, I do. The West Virginia Mountaineers.
Mountaineers of West Virginia. That's kind of interesting.
Some people think it's pretty interesting, but both my parents are from there, and I'm from up north. But yeah.
I believe, I may be wrong, I think your opposing quarterback tomorrow night for the Northwest Guilford Vikings, Mr. Ballou, Tanner Ballou, I think his family is also West Virginia people. Check that out. That's interesting because when you were coming up, and he was just a couple years ahead of you, I said, this guy is like a little prodigy, so to speak, kind of like Ballou. I compared your career a lot to Ballou's career as you guys were coming through, because I saw you in middle school a bunch. So I'm in middle school. So both of you guys have come up through the ranks and done well. And as far as a favorite college player goes, who's your favorite college player?
I don't necessarily have a favorite college player, but
Anybody you watch or like to watch?
I really do like Drake May.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a very good quarterback. He knows what he's doing in the backfield.
Yep, and he stayed the course. He said he probably could have hit the portal if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And gone bigger like Sam Hartman did.
Yeah.
But he stayed, got the job done, and although I'm a big NC State fan, I still got to respect him because he's got a very good family background in sports too. His
Yeah,
brother
he
Luke
does.
played ball there, and his dad played at Carolina also, Mark May. So Jaxson, good job. That interview we did with you that night at the Southeast game was perfecto. Fit the spot perfectly in our post-game program.
you.
So thank you for that. We'll see you tomorrow night there.
Yep.
Good job. And again, tomorrow night, Northern Guilford at home versus Northwest Guilford. Jaxson Kemp, QB1 for the Northern Guilford Nighthawks. We'll see him then.